Sam.
Hi, I'm Kenny.
And we are the Lotus in Life. Hello, everybody. So today's session is the fourth in a series of four, and it is actually called Courageous Dialogue Based on Prayer. And this comes from in May Indigo 2009.
It's part of our Human Security series that we've done.
Correct. So this is the last one. So here we go. This is it. Society today is pervaded by a sense of powerlessness. Even the bravest lose hope faced with reality, and our world closes in upon us. This surely is the fundamental evil of our times. We must now awaken to the fact that the inner determination within each individual's life at every moment contains the power to change the world. And that comes from Daisaku Ikeda's 2003 piece proposal. Imagine if Shakyamuni had been defeated by the scale of the task ahead. If he had decided that being only one person, he could not contribute to any significant change in humanity. His life would never have had the global influence that it has, nor would he have contributed so greatly to the development of humanism throughout the ages. Nichiren also challenged extraordinary difficult circumstances to prove the great potential of humanity. Inheriting Shakyamuni's conviction, he was a human rights activist over 700 years ago and left a legacy for humanity that has eternal relevance and power. These Buddhas both held the mystic law or life's essence as their mentor. In the case of Nichiren, he stated that this law of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, and by doing so made it available as a direct opportunity for self-determination. An unlimited generation of life force by any individual. Bound as we are by the real challenges of living, humanity has a choice as to whether this drives more separation and divisions or a unified conviction based on profound prayer. Fundamental darkness manifests in various forms as doubt, anxiety, earthly desires, and so on. The power to break through fundamental darkness is none other than faith or belief. The Daishonin says, belief means to be without doubt, which comes from the record of the orally transmitted teachings. He also states, the single word belief is the sharp sword with which one confronts and overcomes fundamental darkness. Battling devilish functions and confronting the various difficulties of life must essentially be an intense struggle against our fundamental darkness. If we should lose our faith or belief in the mystic law, if we lose the conviction that we can definitely become happy and attain Buddhahood, and if we lose the desire to accomplish Kozen Rufu without fail, and by the way, Kozen Rufu will be our next discussion piece, then we will also be defeated by hardships, obstacles, and devilish functions on the path to Kozen Rufu. Fighting Daimoku can mean being determined not to be defeated and showing actual proof of the limitless power of our Buddhahood. It can also mean intensely struggling to create value, to change loss into gain, bad into good, baseness into beauty. Above all, recognizing that we need problems and obstacles in our life to fulfill our mission shows proof of the power of the mystic law. Instead of focusing on his or her suffering, the Buddha focuses on their potential to transform suffering into a purposeful struggle. In this way, he or she turns suffering into mission. Instead of only seeing the current situation as an effect of a past cause, the Buddha sees the present moment as the cause for creating future effects. Harnessing the wonderful law of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, which sparks constant development, the Buddha enjoys complete freedom in the present and the future. This is our capability too. When we suffer, a positive action we can make is to chant before the Gohonzon, seeing the devilish functions for what they are, and revealing the light of Buddhahood in our life, and thereby transforming the darkness so as to shine with a sense of mission. This is the battle, the ceaseless struggle to win over our negativity. Focusing only on our own suffering makes us suffer more, and interestingly, negatively affects those around us. Necessarily because darkness and light cannot manifest simultaneously, our suffering changes as we reveal our enlightened nature through challenging our negativity, and consequently those around us experience hope in return. In this way we are creating value for ourselves and others. Which brings me to a question, Katie. And the question I'd like to ask you is, how do you use fighting Daimoku?
Well, this is an interesting question because I'm actually on a journey myself to figure out the power of Daimoku and how it helps me be better. And I recently was able to chant for 30 minutes and use that fighting Daimoku, and it only came because I was battling with my fundamental darkness. And it's true that when you sit in front of the Gohonzon, you are able to see your devilish functions for what they truly are. And I felt very empowered knowing that I could change it and I could make it better. And since then I have and kept growing and reflecting, because when you're in front of the Gohonzon, you can see, like, you let the ego go and see, okay, you know what, maybe I was wrong in that situation, and that's something that I can improve on, and I can keep on improving as well. And when you chant with the determination for it to happen, it's like if you believe in it, it will happen. It's something that I'm coming to find as well. So that's how I use my fighting Daimoku. I'm still figuring out to get it on a consistent basis, but in the meantime, that's what I've discovered so far in my short years of practice.
Fantastic, Kenny. That is so inspiring. I'm sure you'll all be inspired by that response. To me, fighting Daimoku is getting in front of the Gohonzon with everything that I am and everything that I have, and challenging myself, challenging my insecurity, challenging my fear, challenging my procrastination, and becoming an example for people. If I'm not at my best, if I haven't got a strong life condition, a strong life force, the people around me can feel that. And I'll give you a direct example. My mum lives 3 doors up the road from me, and she's 89 now, and she's getting a little bit weaker, and some of her responses sometimes press buttons in me. So it's so important now for my fighting Daimoku is, whenever I'm with my mum, to create the best value I can when I'm around her, to give her the best love that I can give her, and to give her the encouragement that she needs. And if she does say something to me that annoys or upsets me, just to stop, breathe, and respond and not react. So fighting Daimoku for me is winning. It's actually winning against my negativity.
That's so great. There's a lot to learn from, like, for me, from what you said just then, Sam. That was really good. I think you're right that you have to learn to create value in every moment, and just be yourself, be vulnerable in front of the Gohonzon as well. So, I'm gonna read the next part now. Buddhism emphasizes the significance of dialogue as a cause. This is premised on the nature of causality and its part in the fabric of life itself. Our victory in the course of dialogue is decided by the depth of our determination to continue engaging and interacting. This requires belief in others as well as the opening of our own heart to the constraints that may stem from suffering the other person may experience. In contrast, discrimination is the act of throwing up barriers of difference among the phenomena that fill the universe and establishing among them a hierarchy of value, thus breaking the bonds that link and connect all things. This is then used to justify oppression and exploitation. As such, it must be condemned as a desecration of the sanctity of life itself. The concept of hierarchy is a human invention and consistently underpins the destructive behavior of individuals and civilizations. Whereas, within the functions of life, no hierarchy exists. The foundation of life itself is of harmony. When each of us rejects separation and works to open our hearts and our minds to the reality of our existence, we create another possibility. The possibility that responsibility for transforming our environment belongs to each one of us. Prayer is a self-determined action to summon the courage to take responsibility for causes we make, and by doing so, directing our lives towards value creation. It is a stand to harmonize our life with those in our environment while maintaining the courage of our own conviction. Consistently deepening our faith is the sanctity of human life, and our shared responsibility to each other and the environment is a powerful expression of our belief and confidence in the infinite and unlimited nature of life. So to summarize, to create an age of peace, one in which life is given a supreme value, it is vital for us to have a philosophy that reveals the wonder, dignity, and infinite potential of life. When we base our actions on this belief and take action out of compassion for others, the result is a pure joy, which in turn motivates us to further action, empowering ourselves from within. Our sphere of compassion becomes wider and wider, encompassing not only ourselves, our families and nations, but the whole of humanity.
Beautifully put. And that was from SGI's peace proposal of SGI Dosako Ikeda's peace proposal of 2009. This is the essence, I think, Hetty, of what Nichiren Daishonin has been talking about through these 4 sessions about on establishing the peace of the land.
I definitely agree.
And he's talking what they're talking about here is so important about having empowering ourselves from within. Our sphere of compassion becomes wider and wider, encompassing not only ourselves, our families and nations, but the whole of humanity. So this can only come with consistent daimoku.
I agree. I've been thinking about that a lot, which is why we chose this topic in the first place, because my question was, how in a world of like separation, of chaos, do we bring happiness and hope? And this is the answer. It's funny that even in like 2009, and this is like just over 10 years later, we still face the same separation, the same discrimination, isolation. We still face that, and I feel like now, even though we have technology, people are more disconnected, and it's up to us to see value in every human life, whether they have the same beliefs as us or not. We have to see their potential and believe in it and have hope for the future, and that's only when that society can change.
Absolutely. And people can feel and sense our sincerity.
They can, yeah.
And they get empowered by that sincerity. When you really care about someone, you really want someone to feel better in their life, and you really encourage them, whether it's by offering them Nam Myoho Renge Kyo or just giving them an encouraging word, that helps them stand up on their own and become more empowered and more happy and more better to function in their life. So our compassion for other people is so important.
It is. It definitely is. I think I've come to realize now that our practice is not just Buddhism, but it's humanism, and that we have to see the humanity in each one of us and in others, and be there for that, like without judgment of the other person, just being there supporting other people and hoping that they get the values that we have in our practice already.
Absolutely, Kelly. Well put.
Thank you.
So this concludes the 4th episode on the human rights series that the 4 pieces that we've done on the human rights series. This is the last episode now. So thank you all so much for watching and for listening, and bear with me. Okay. So yeah, this is the last one. So after this one, we'll be discussing the concept of Kozen Rufu. So I'm Sam.
I'm Ketty. And we are the Lotus in Life.
So until next time, see ya.